Joining me now is author and political commentator Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us today. I have my very good friend, political commentator Benji Irby, as seen on Newsmax, as seen on Sky News, as seen on HBO and Vice when he bitch slapped the liberals. As seen at several events. Benji, I am so excited for us to have this chit chat. We've been talking about doing it for so long.
I know, right?
And here we are. Before we get started, well, first let me tell the audience, today the topic of discussion will be conservative versus Christian. Are the two the same? Because that conversation comes up so much. I don't have a hard stance on it, but I want us to have that conversation because we have similar beliefs. We're both conservatives, and we both just like to keep it real. So we're going to have that discussion. But before we get into it, we're going to talk about some hot topics. But before that, I got to play some of the hits. I gotta play some of the hits because we have had some good times here. Let's see. Let's see. Should we? This was us. Let's see.
Yes, we know each other in real life.
Okay.
Oh yes, the North Carolina State House. Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Here we go. Let's play this. Because it was so fun. Wait, can we hear it?
I can't hear.
I can't hear it either. What did I do? What did I do wrong, people? Oh, wait. It's on mute.
That's mute? Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
Okay, let's try it again.
So, I don't even do videos, but, I'm here with Shemeka at the North Carolina State House being a nerd. And, look, there's a whole Black Lives Matter protest going on in front. I don't know what statue or what the hell. I guess that I don't know what that is, but they are protesting. But there are no Black people.
Right.
How are we the only Black people that happen to stumble upon this Black Lives Matter protest with no Black people? This is
foolishness. Oh, there go one. I'm like, there's one with a little afro.
Okay, there's one. I'm like, okay, but this makes no sense. We were just going to the State House. Well, really, I was dragging Shemeka to the State House, being a nerd, because I'm a nerd. In North Carolina, in Raleigh, and there's a whole Black Lives Matter protest, but there are no
Black
people.
None.
Wow.
They better not.
So.
That
was crazy. That literally was and it was so random because we weren't even looking for that sort of thing. We were just at the state capitol, literally, because I have a thing about state capitals. I try to take pictures of all of them. I've seen a lot of them, and we happened to see that protest. And I remember seeing the kids. I thought it was you go to DC and it was especially during the time of Trump, there's all these school trips and stuff like that. So that's what I thought it was. And then we see it's a Black Lives Matter protest. There's no Black people here. So it's okay, what are we really doing? And then we are the two Black people, of course. How ironic that we were running into this foolishness at the time.
Right.
Oh my God, I was so fat in that video. Lord Jesus. Huh?
Yeah, they didn't even want to talk to us. They didn't want to engage us in conversation, which was so crazy because it's okay, y'all are talking about Black Lives Matter. I guess it's all Black lives except ours. They didn't want to talk to us, but that video on your original, what was Twitter at the time page, went viral. We ended up what was the magazine? Spectator.
Yeah, Spectator.
I have it framed. We ended up, they used our image for the Spectator magazine, Australia, and it was like a big deal. So,
yeah, it was really, really cool. I think it did like 450,000 views on X. It's like just like really random, but it's just so funny. And I remember that same day you had did a live from there, and this random guy had like met us who was like, you know, I guess like a supporter of yours, a follower of yours, and he took us to that place we had dinner with your friend and those other people that were there, and it was so funny because one thing about that night I remember, it was right after the whole George Floyd thing and whatever. And I remember that white guy, it was like a white guy, it was like a biker white guy, so it was like a biker white bar. We were like the only 3 black people there. And he had like all these chains and stuff on and was like MAGA out and everything. And he was like, I wish the police wouldn't kill so many people. And it was just like, oh, expect that from you. He was like, yeah, they killed my brother. And and it was just like, it was a beautiful moment because it shows that a lot of times these issues that we take on is like just black issues, is issues of black versus white. There are people who feel these things on both sides, and it just shows that we can come to some sort of solution. Hopefully, like let's try to do that, as opposed to exploiting, bitterness and exploiting, separation for our own political gain, which is what we do in this country, basically.
Right. And do you know I have not gone live since then.
For real?
Because
so scary.
Yeah, I'm too scared to be like, I'm live here at McDonald's or wherever.
Yeah.
Somebody just pulled up.
He pulled up. He really did. Like, she had did the live and like she was doing it. And at the time, that's why I said in that video, I don't really do videos. At the time, I really didn't do videos. I didn't really like video. I didn't like seeing myself in video. I would like go and do stuff on TV. But like just me being, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm like an influencer. Like, this is me. It's like I don't have that. Whatever that thing is, I ain't got it. But I do like the TV and the studio and the whole setup. I like the setup. I like shit set up for me. But I was like, I just happened to do that because I was just like, oh my God, like there's like no black people here. Like this, like people need to see this shit. But yeah, you had did a live like right after, and this man he was a nice man, but what if he wasn't a nice man? I was telling I have a friend who wants to go into content, creation, a girl, and I was telling her you got to be careful about when you do pictures, videos, make sure things are close cropped, that they're in your house. You don't want to do anything by really any windows. A lot of times windows are how you're able to tell, what floor, what style your floor plans are online. So if somebody was a hater and they want to dox you, they can go online, go to the county record. And it sounds like a lot, but the internet is a lot. You know what I mean? Like these people are fucking crazy. So I've gotten death threats and things like that. Like I don't really care, but I just know that, it's a thing, you know what I mean? That you have to just kind of always be recognizant of, because people are nuts. People want clout. They really ain't gonna do shit, but if it frazzles you in the moment, they'll do it for clout.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Sabertooth Tiger says, oh my God, Shemeka, the only folks in Durham that have BLM signs in their yard, white liberal, probably gay chicks. And that is so true. It's always the white liberals, as if they're saying, we're on your side.
Yeah, here in Pennsylvania, you normally see that in like the richest suburbs. You'll see like, especially the ones right outside the city, you'll see like the flag with all of the colors. And they have like the brown and the black and all that. I done lost count. And they have all that, and the love is love and nothing. And they have like that whole rundown with like, in this house, love is love and Trump is Hitler and whatever, what they do. And then like, further out in the excerpts, that's when you'll see like the Trump stuff, because Trump did win this state of Pennsylvania. I am saying that Pennsylvania is a red state. So what? We have Shapiro as a governor who's, quasi, somewhat what moderate. And then we have Fetterman, who's like, I mean, come on, Fetterman, just come on over, Fetterman. Just come on. Like Fetterman, just switch sides already, Fetterman. But I did see that there was a debate between both of our senators, Fetterman and McCormick, and they're like best buds. Like they're, Democrat, Republican, but they get along, pretty well, which is good. So Pennsylvania we're more of a common sense state than some of the others.
Yes. Now, before we get to the hot topics, I want to go to this little blast from the past. Okay?
Oh God. What was I wearing and how did I look?
This blast from the past.
The HBO liberal versus conservative debate panel thingamajiggy. Yeah.
Let's see what you had to say here.
I think Donald Trump is really changing the Republican Party by working with the gay and lesbian community. He wasn't a racist or a homophobe until he ran for president. His best friend was Joan Rivers, who was like the patron saint of gays. If there was a homophobic drop of blood in him, we would have heard that 20 years ago.
We did. Okay. All right.
I would push back and say he was a racist when Central Park 5 happened.
Nope, he's been a racist.
Central Park 5 happened.
Actually, I actually have here the op-ed.
It's the thing he's on it. Oh,
Central Park 5, there's nothing here mentioned about racism. If anything, he's talking about having a safe city for Black and brown and white people. That's a narrative keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And we're going to talk about a place of truth. This man, I did. I pulled up receipts. That's what you got to do nowadays.
God.
That's from like my old YouTube page. I had like all these things. I don't do anything with YouTube hardly anymore. But basically, what that was HBO had like this like panel thing, liberal versus conservative, whatever, and they invited me to come there. And obviously, I was on the conservative side, and there was like other people, like Blair White was there, and Brandon Strzok was there, and then they had like liberal people that were there as well. And basically, I don't know, it's crazy because like, if you what you can't see was obscured on camera, and this is like on YouTube, you can like find it, like it's like on my TikTok and stuff, like Benji Irby, it's on my TikTok and whatever, without the little stuff over it. But basically what I had done was they were talking about the Central Park 5 thing, and when they were saying this, Donald Trump called for the the killing of these 5 men in the newspaper, whatever, and I was like, no, he didn't. Like, and I actually pulled out the actual article, and that people like, was that like set up for the network? It actually wasn't. What happened with that was, I remember the morning that I was leaving to go do that thing, it was taped in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I was living in Bronx at the time. I was in New York, and something had told me like, you need to pull up the receipts on these niggas because they're gonna say a lot of bullshit, and it's better to have the documents in hand because I don't like to have to go back and forth on a narrative. So I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Let me just make sure I have the paperwork, I have documents with me. So I literally was right about walk out the door. I went and I just printed all this stuff out. I printed out things I knew that were going to come up. Like I printed, because that was the only one that made it to the editing room floor, because a lot of stuff they cut. So I put that out. So they're going to do Central Park 5. Let me have the newspaper article for that. The Trump doctrine about like the gays, the trans in the military, and like that whole thing. I had that printed out. And there was a whole bunch of other things that I had like just printed out. So as we were going through the subjects, I would like pull these things like out of my jacket, to the point where the moderator was like, we can't have you pulling things out of your jacket. It's messing with your mic. It's like, no, y'all just don't want to deal with the facts. If we're going to talk about these things, I say, let's bring the 4 corners of the document out. If you say that Trump said these things in paper, then let's bring the article out. Let's read the fucking article and let's talk about it, rather than go through this whole narrative. You say that Trump hates gays, doesn't want trans in the military. If you are going to the military, this is not the time to be deciding your gender. Like, that needs to be all said and done with. You're going into the military so you can get free surgery off the U.S. government. And it's like, you're not even fighting the war for real. Right. And I remember the point that I made, which they cut off from HBO when they filmed this, to the trans people that were there. And I was like, you are anti-military, but it's that military that fights to give you the freedom to be trans. Because if not for them, if the enemy won, y'all are the first to die. Okay. So I don't understand what is with the enmity with the military, and why would you even want to go in the military? A trans conservative I know. Do you know Monique Worthy? Have you met her?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I haven't met.
But like online and stuff, yeah. But like Monique, like I was on a podcast, on a Hood Conservative podcast, which I do a lot of times on Thursdays. That's Laverne Spicer's podcast on X. She was on there one day, and she was saying like, I'm she's trans. She's like, I'm trans, and like, I don't need to be in no military. Like, why would I want to be there? Like, I'm trying to dress up and look cute and put on nails and and live my life trying to be a girl. Why would I even want that? You know what I mean? But really what a lot of it is you have people that are trying to get that surgery for free, and they're trying to get the U.S. to fund it by going into the military. And that's totally not a good use of the military. With the way the world's on fire right now, let's have a good military that actually can do some shit. I mean, China's actually beating us. Their Navy's bigger now. Was that the concern?
Yeah, it's annoying when I see those videos and they're in their military uniforms, but the purpose of the video is to show them dressed up or with makeup on or doing something that is anti-military. Like,
being an influencer.
If something goes down, that I'm safe, that my family's safe, not that you're somewhere trying to. I get so upset with those. I feel like they should be fired on the spot. Just go ahead, put them out. When those videos go by, like, it makes me so angry, because why are you there? Going back to that, the clip I just played, you were the first person that actually showed me the article that Trump actually put in the paper, because people were always saying, oh, he was against the Central Park Five. And I can read and I have comprehension skills, you know, but I had never actually read the article. So you were the first person that said, read it. And when I read it, I was like, oh, he didn't call for the death of the Central Park Five.
No.
He actually said, like, killers should be killed, but if they didn't kill that woman, then that's not pertaining to them. You know, it was like, oh.
And he talked about in the article, that's what I was pulling out there. If you guys didn't realize that, that's what I put. I literally pulled out the actual, you know, op-ed thing from the New York Times, the article. And he says in the article about a safe city for Black, white, Asian families. So where is this? But the narrative that's being pushed by, you know, our boule Black leadership to Black people and to people across the country in general who are of good beings, but just never actually read the damn article, is that Donald Trump called for the death of 5 boys, innocent boys, and it's in the New York Times. And like, that's not true. And the thing is, for the woke New York Times, if that were the case, then why would the woke New York Times, why would y'all print that? If Donald Trump is a white supremacist who's calling for the killing of five innocent Black men, why would you even take his money to print something like that if you're all the woke New York Times? Like, these things make no sense. So what I try to do is just give people the actual facts and let people decide for themselves. Not so much about, you know, loving Trump or being on the Trump train with everything that you have, but it's more so like Trump is not the, you know, killer of Black people that you are trying to make him out to be, that they want to make him out to be, to keep you in a political box. Because that's really what it's bigger than Trump. Because I mean, Trump, we love Trump. Trump's great, but Trump is done, you know, politically. Like, this is it for Trump. You know what I mean? So it's like, my whole thing is to let people know, especially like Black people know, that like, they're going to keep this game running on and on and on and on. I'm at an age now, I'm 41. So like, now I'm in a whole new generation where I'm seeing a new generation of young Black people get pulled into the wokey bullshit, you know, because I've seen 20 years of it, and what it's gotten us Obama with, you know, no change, no reparations, no nothing. Mind you, they had the votes to do reparations. They could have done that under Obama. People don't like to talk about that. They get real mad when you say that, you know, but it's the truth. And they didn't do this. And why would they? Because what leverage do we have as Black people? They knew what were they going to say? Like, oh, well, we ain't giving you reparations. What you going to do about it? Vote for Trump? Be a Republican? You ain't going nowhere, nigga. So, and they knew that, you know what I mean? They played us. So for us moving forward, for Black people, for Americans moving forward, even on the white side, it's because the flip, the Republicans do the same thing on the other side to a lot of their poor white voters. But it's like, we have to be able to stand up and push back. So it's not so much about, you know, glazing Trump or trying to make Trump look like he's the type of savior. No, but it's letting you know that he's not this white supremacist killer that they're making him out to be, because he's their threat. Like, the only thing the Democrats are scared of is Trump. So when a Black person says, I may vote for Trump, that's like, whoa. You know what I mean? That's the only thing.
Hold your horses. You're going
they're afraid of politically, but so many of us as Black people are so scared because we're sick of the Democrats. Black folks are sick of the Democrats, for real. Like, we really are. But I think so many of us are scared to kind of go that note, push that button, because it's like, whoa, that's too far, because then like all the other Blacks are going to judge me. You know what I mean?
Especially the younger generation. The younger generations are definitely sick of the Democrats. Like, we can see that it did nothing for our parents, nothing for our grandparents, but they were so loyal to a fault. My grandmother is 91 years old, and she's going to vote Democrat no matter what. Yeah. But as for me, as for my children, we're just like, no, something has to give, something has to change. And since we're on the subject of Trump, we can go on into the hot topic of Trump and Elon taking credit, saying that Trump wouldn't have won if it wasn't for him. All of this going back and forth. It was like we don't call them tweets anymore, but it was like a tweet storm on yesterday. You said it's what?
It's still Twitter to me.
Right. Okay.
It's still Twitter to me. I don't care.
We don't have any hot terms for X, like, because post is just plain, but tweet was like, yeah. So it was like a tweet storm yesterday. And I just want to get your input, because I know that you voted for Trump all 3 times.
All 3 times.
And you've never,
unlike a lot of these people.
Yeah. Okay. You never wavered.
Never.
I never saw you saying anything against him, or you're calling when he's wrong. But I mean, as far as some of those,
as far as like the people who jumped on the DeSantis train and all that bullshit and coming back like they wasn't disloyal. And mind you, I lived in Florida, voted for DeSantis for governor, but there was no way in hell I was voting for him for president. I always was on the Trump train, never wavered, never. Unlike a lot of these influencers and whatnot, I ain't never wavered. So yes.
Pretend like we don't remember, but okay.
Right. Delete them tweets real quick. They was in that phone like, ooh, Trump the nominee. Let me get rid of these tweets right quick. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think about what's going on between Trump and Elon?
Well, this week has been sweet vindication for me because I've been under fire from everybody because everybody, y'all just love Elon so much. Elon. I never trusted Elon. I knew this day would happen. I said from last year, from when Trump first got in office, when he first got in office and appointed Elon for this whatever Doge thing, I said, this is not going to last to 26. And everybody thought I was crazy because all the MAGA just love Elon. Oh, Elon. Y'all out here buying them bullshit ass Teslas and all that bullshit. And I said, no. And a few of the reasons were for me that Elon, to me, he's no better than Zuckerberg or Bezos. What he just is smart enough to see the writing on the wall a little bit earlier. This man, I'm a blue collar black person. You may see me on Newsmax, whatever, see me in little suits, whatever. I'm a blue collar black person. So I come from driving trucks, cleaning houses, all types of things that like illegals come in and undercut our wages on us. That's always been my big push. That's my biggest push behind Trump is getting rid of these illegals, E-Verify, all this stuff, because it's really hurting the American worker. And that's like who I speak for. So for Elon Musk and anybody with that whole computer, EV, electric car, fuck all of them. Like I'm never going to be for that. So from the beginning. And to me, Elon's constituency, which is what made what he said so ridiculous, because he's like, without me, what constituency do you have, Elon? Your constituency is a whole bunch of fucking EV driving liberals. That's why they trashed your shit, because they're like, we invested in you and we made you who the fuck you are. Because remember, our Obama, our Biden were giving you all these energy subsidies to make these bullshit ass EV cars, which Trump was not for before in the first term. Trump was not for no damn EVs in the first term. So now you're all buddy and like EVs are a good thing. He bought this little dumbass Tesla, which I'm sure he's angry that he bought and wants to probably fucking burn. Gave this man a whole key to the White House, and Trump looks fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Going around following after this weirdo. He's doing exactly what I thought he would do when he did get his way. He's saying it's not about the energy credits. It definitely the fuck is. The only reason why Elon is the richest man in the world is because of our tax dollars and the money that we gave him. So he's like, oh, I put money into your campaign. Okay, but you put money in that Wisconsin campaign and they still lost. Kamala put money into more money than anybody in her campaign, her and Hillary. They both still lost. So money does not buy votes. So for him to try to say that he's the reason, it was cute that you tagged along. But if anybody's going to be the reason, or anybody could say that, the only person that could even say that feasibly with an inkling of any type of like credibility would be RFK. Because I mean, RFK did bring along a lot of squishy suburban moms, people like that, the Maha movement, stuff. So he did bring a constituency along. I could say that about RFK. You know what I mean? Even like Tulsi, even like people that came from the Democrat side, they actually have constituencies and people in the government. You're just some Looney Tune from fucking South Africa who just came out and just like, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, how dare you tweet something like that? And then the Epstein thing, that was just like, that was way too far. But you know what? But it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault because the part, and this is where I do criticize Trump. Trump, as much as he has good political instincts, he has the worst. Team Trump has the worst fucking like discernment when it comes to people and loyalty. I have seen them, and this is not for me to bitch and moan and whatever. But I have inside stories and shit that we won't share here, but which will be off. I don't want to see this gossipy or messy, but there's so many people that were so even going back to 2016, that was so loyal and so faithful to them that they threw to the side for these people that's supposed to have a bigger profile or look better, or as Trump would say, what does he call it? What does he say? Straight off the something. What is it, the movie line? What does he say? I forgot his like motion picture something. Whatever that term is that he uses. Like, you know what I mean? And these people are clout chasers. They're out for themselves. And as soon as something doesn't go their way, look at them. Omarosa. Fucking Scaramucci, like you know what I mean? Like
all of them.
There's so many. It's just a line. When you had people that were faithful, grassroots people that were down for real, that were kind of pushed off to the side, and it's like the same thing with Elon. How can you trust somebody who's here for EV cars? Like You're for the American worker. You're for truckers. You're for the diesel engine. How can you ever trust the EV guy? Like, I never trusted Elon. I always knew this was going to happen. I said it on my news act appearances. Everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody's like, oh, you're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. But I've been vindicated. Elon did exactly what the fuck I thought he would do. And that Epstein thing was just absolutely disgusting. Like, that was just, and I know Trump feels like an idiot after doing that whole ceremony and the key, because no one's ever gotten the keys to the White House saying you can come back. That's never happened in the history of this country. So you do all of that. You're razzle-dazzled by Elon. He's a quote-unquote richest man in the world. He's only rich because of our tax dollars. He ain't all that special, y'all. Like, ain't that deep. Without our money, and you know, oh, well, I'll take my space rock back. Fuck the space program. Honestly, it's homeless niggas here on Earth in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about them.
I'm not going to Mars.
So, I don't give a fuck about going to Mars. For real. I don't have any. You know, I don't even have a passport right now. I can't even leave the fucking country. So I'm good on Mars. Okay. So like, I don't, all that shit he's talking about, all this EV shit, these are not things that are gonna put able-bodied men back to work. That's my whole thing. Even with like George Floyd, like as we just had the protest and went to protest, these Democrats don't give a fuck about George Floyd. If they cared about George Floyd, instead of using his face as an emblem and putting him all over all these structures and whatever, why aren't they crafting legislation so that a black man who's 46 years old, who's down on his luck, would have a job doing something, putting something together, something tangible, where he would have a family and not be out there, with the counterfeit 20? Because one of the things I hate about what the conservatives do, especially with what happened over, Memorial Day and 5th year anniversary, is like I see people post things like, oh, these memes, like, oh, George Floyd, 5 years clean and shit like that. Like, that shit is whack. Like, for us to be conservatives and for us to be, championing life and, Christ and things of that nature, like, that shit is not cool. And especially because at the end of the day, George Floyd never asked to be the emblem of the Democrat Party. This man was dead. They then took his image and made him this hero, made him this graven image. He didn't ask for that. George Floyd was a poor man just trying to get by. And I know he robbed a lady and did whatever, but guess what? He went to jail for those things. We're supposed to be believing in giving people a second chance, supposed to be believing in, you're paying your debt to society. You can't hold that against that man forever. And I just hate that so many of us on the conservative side kind of got caught up in that thing, because I look at, living in the hood for real, like a lot of these other conservative, influencing. I like living in the hood for real. I'm in West Philadelphia. I walk outside. I deal with and talk to crackheads every day. I'm an urban gardener. I'm out my garden every night. I'm dealing with crackheads, dealing with their stories, hearing their things, dealing with normal everyday people. So for you to go out here and to say these horrible things about George Floyd and like make him this enemy when he didn't do anything to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the Democrats do. I understand what Democrats do. I understand how we get scared about that, but we also have to think about, as conservatives, people who say we follow Christ and whatever, the humanity of people as well. That man did not ask for that. Like, if we really care about George Floyd, let's make policies that our young and older black men, white men of our country, period, because it's an epidemic. Our men have nothing to do. All the jobs that were for, men without college degrees, our quote unquote, dumb men. Like, I count myself as I'm a dumb person because I didn't go to college. So I'm not educated, which is fine with me because that means I'm not indoctrinated. I went to college. I never finished it because it was bullshit. And what was the point? You know what I mean? But for people like that, which is most of our people, why are there not jobs for our people? And there's not any reason why there can't be. We're just farming out all of our actual tangible jobs, our tangible labor for foreigners because they want new slaves, because the blacks, we're a little too uppity. We want too much now. So now they got to get new slaves in off our face, off our name, off the black struggle, because we want to talk about reparations. They just gave reparations to the illegals, $22 billion from the Biden administration for them, $500 a night hotel stays. You know what I mean? They're helping them get resettled, readjusted to our country. Is this not what black folks want? Reparations? You know what I mean? But then I'm sorry. I'm gonna tear. I'm sorry. I get upset. The thing. You know how I do. I'm sorry. You know how we are.
I know. I was gonna say, this is how our phone calls are.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I know I'll be talking you to death.
This is how our phone calls are. But I heard that you say, you needed to move with Uncle Phil. I didn't know you were in West Philadelphia. As soon as you said it, I'm like, in West Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You said absolutely so much in there that can't even piggyback on it.
My bad. I just
it was so I should have been taking notes because there were things that you said that I wanted to jump in on, but I'm like, this is how our phone calls are. But I want you to know we are going to get to the discussion of conservative versus Christianity if I got to keep you on here all day. So I just need you to know We're going to get through every hot topic we discussed, and we're going to talk about that. So be mindful that, you know, I'm going to get it out of you. So that's all you know. It was about the Trump and Elon thing. When you touched on the working class, that to me is what's important. That's why I felt like the whole Epstein thing went too far. I don't like the back and forth, because Elon is only thinking about Elon. Elon is thinking about himself and the other elites, the other rich people. He's not thinking about those of us that actually went to the polls because we needed a change. Life was getting too expensive for us. Things were hard. We went to the polls to vote for Trump, not because of Elon, not because Elon was passing out checks. And let me go on record as saying that $47 that Elon was sending out to people when you got them to sign that petition, I didn't get all of mine. Elon owes me some money right now.
I know people in Pennsylvania who didn't get, you know, I'm in Pennsylvania. I know people in Pennsylvania. I think it was like I don't know, it was $100, whatever it was, they didn't get it. So and that's the thing, because like if Elon cared about the budget and cared about the stress on the American people and whatever, then you would know you can't walk up in Congress like it's one of your company. You're not going to tell congressmen and senators with no freaking term limits what to do. Where Elon fucked up and where I knew this was all going to go left and not go where we're supposed to go was that he didn't do the PR right. Most of politics, honestly, we try to act all smart and whatever. It's a fucking popularity contest when it comes down to the get down of it. And when he allowed the media to smear him and lean into that whole Nazi controversy, when he was so flippant about the losing of people's jobs and shit like that, like the whole Doge cuts, whatever, you're cutting jobs. You have to be reverent about that. You can't be like, oh, well, we have to cut them his ways. Because what the media did, they made you a billionaire monster. They made you a monster worse than Trump. So guess what, sir? If you're a monster worse than Trump, do you really think a congressman in Wisconsin is going to go back to people and say, well, I supported Doge, when Doge is now a curse word, when you're fucking Hitler? Like, you did not do Trump any good by going there being a fucking asshole and just saying random shit. Like life is not, government is not X. Like, government is not a bunch of, you know, conservative accounts that like suck Elon's dick and like kiss his ass and glaze him all day, which he's used to that around him. All those people. The House and the Senate ain't that. They don't give a fuck about you, Elon. Like, you may be billionaires come and go, but they realize the House and Senate is forever.
Yes.
Like, he's going to primary somebody. You're not primarying anybody, Elon Musk, because you have no constituency, sir. Like, I'm around for another 40 years. To do what? No one is going to want to link with you because you are toxic.
Yes.
Like,
I have friends who actually, you know, they're afraid. They were going to work actually thinking, will this be the day that I lose my job? And these people are worried about whether or not they'll be able to pay their rent, be able to pay, you know, to feed their families. Now, granted, they may be actually riding the clock, and maybe those jobs needed to be cut, but it was the way he was carrying himself.
Exactly.
Like,
it's PR. Like, if I'm all for cuts to the go, I'm all for that. But my thing is, as you are doing that, this is what we're doing. This is what we're restoring. You want to be reverent about. Like, I honestly, people hated on Vivek, but I feel like when Vivek was a part of it in the beginning, it was much more. And I'm not a big Vivek fan, obviously, but it was much more palatable. I remember they were talking about, you know, generous, you know, severance packages and things like that, and making sure that people felt whole. But I feel like after Vivek left, and it was just Elon and him and his little Doge boy. And you have to understand something, like, this is all about PR, because I saw this happening in real time. It's, Elon and his, you know, young white male Doge people who don't care about anybody. They're in their little suits and they're aristocratic and they're assholes. And like you don't see the narrative that the media is painting, and you're falling right into it. That's what, even with the whole George Floyd thing, I said, I hate to see conservatives fall into the media's traps. When you hate on George Floyd and say you're glad you're falling into the fucking media trap, because now if me or you go to a, you know, somebody who's on the fence who may be, you know, black, or even somebody white, you know, even like, you know, for example, a suburban white woman who's like, you know, Republicans, I don't know, because I saw some stuff online, they celebrating George Floyd death, and like, I just, you know, I kind of want better policies, but I don't hate people. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I like America to be great again, but like, this other stuff I'm seeing is very disturbing. Like, you're making it that much harder. And I feel like with Elon, if you really cared about this process of trying to make things less for, you know, the American people and cutting it, and you really care, then you would know, idiot, that it's not going to happen in one vote. You know, it's going to be a systemic thing. If you can take the time to make wolf tickets, which you're not going to fucking do, and say you're going to primary people in the 26, then why couldn't you do that after this bill with people that are moving toward what you're talking about? Why couldn't you fund people that were going in talking about, you know, cutting government? One thing that needs to be done more than anything, if Elon was smart, we need term limits. So why can Elon say, look, I'm funding any government person coming in that says you need term limits. You say you for term limits, $1 million, boom, off me. Democrat or Republican, I don't give a damn. You say you can come in and promise that you will vote for term limits. That now, if Elon cared and wanted to do something with his money, that's something he can do. That's what I'm saying. If you look at the way Elon was moving, it was just more Omarosa, fucking Scaramucci, same old bullshit. And it's like, I've seen this movie before. That's why I knew from the beginning this was not going to work. He was going to try to exalt himself higher than Trump. That wasn't going to work. Trump was going to have that. And this guy's feeling himself way too much.
I said, we all know Trump is not going to have that. That's never been his personality. And I was just saying earlier, we were talking about it on Fearless. I wouldn't have a problem with Elon saying, you know, this was, I bit off more than I could chew, or we're going our separate ways, even if he stuck to policy. But the dirty stuff, insinuating, we all knew that the tweet about Epstein was to insinuate that Trump was a pedophile.
Right.
Or that Trump trafficked young girls.
And if Trump is a pedophile, then why you got your son in his office all over him and whatnot? If it's so petty and stupid, and it's actually a real disservice to people who actually were Epstein's victims. You know what I mean? Like, for you to go out and do that.
That was so petty.
He's done. Like, Trump's never, like, if he wanted to be, you know, that's the point of no return. Like Trump could never.
You would never get on my plane after that.
At that point, he's done at that point. So he's probably going to switch over. He's probably going to switch over to liberals, I'm sure, because at the end of the day, if Elon got to get his government contracts in, so he's going to hose up whoever the fuck about to win. Elon saw this the train. I'm about to win. I'm the only one on his side. I'm about to get everything I want. And when he didn't do that, when he couldn't get that EV mandate bullshit, whatever the fuck he wanted, when he couldn't get the clout he wanted, he showed you who the fuck he really was. Because if you cared about the American people at all, like you say you do, you would never conduct yourself that way. You can have a phone call with him. You can say, look, I don't agree with this bill. Even Thomas Massey, who don't agree with none of Trump shit. He ain't out there talking about Trump's a pedophile. Like, you know what I mean? You can say, I don't support it. It's people out there that don't support it. There are Republicans who come in and say, look, I can't support this. It's too much pork. You can just say that. But why the snipes and the personal shit? You know what I mean? And that's he's petty and ridiculous and a fucking weirdo. And I always told y'all that. And I was right as usual. I told y'all this. Like,
I'm gonna
I told y'all this shit.
Decision, Benji. And we're going to jump to the actual topic of conversation, because now we are almost 40 minutes in and we've only hit the first hot topic. Again, y'all, this is how our phone conversations go. We will tack on the so-called hot topics maybe at the end if we still have steam. But I want to get to this whole Christian versus conservative. Are they synonymous? I want to hear from you, because we know that, you know, you are the child of pastors. You've been in the church your entire life. So have I. Conservatism is new for me, actually, knowing kind of what it is. I got here by mistake. I thought everything that I was voting for since 18 lined up with my values. I didn't realize they didn't. And so it was like a surprise to me when I got kicked off Facebook and I started on Twitter and I started saying things and I saw all of these white folks. I see white people, you know, starting to be like, yeah, that's the truth. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then somebody was like, Brandon, you know, reached out to Brandon. You have a walk away person here. And I'm like, walk away from what? I didn't know what was going on, because I thought the way that I thought was just common sense thinking.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the whole political aspect of everything, because I assumed when these people came out and said, this is the way you should vote, you know, the Democrats, or when they came and sat in church and we welcomed them, or, you know, we were just always so friendly with Democrats, I assumed they had my best interests at heart. So I never really started to look and say, wait a minute, what's going on? Something's not adding up until Obama's second term. Now, some people may say, oh my God, you were so grown. I was so grown. But that's when I started to question that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what it was, but it was like, what's happening here? But now, some years in, I see this constant fight between, it seems, Christians and conservatives. And so my question is, are they the same? Or should they be? I don't know. I don't have a hard stance.
I mean, I
felt
see
like you were a good person to talk about this.
I see a lot of, you know, clout chasing online and X stuff, which is like not reality at all in real life that people actually live. But I will say this, as far as like the church is concerned, the church is becoming more secular. A lot of that, as far as Black church is concerned, is, you know, that harkens back to the civil rights movement, where it came from. Because, you know, Black people obviously were, you know, originally conservative, but the church was basically co-opted by the civil rights movement, and it became more so about strategizing against like white people and, you know, quote unquote white supremacy and whatever, more than spiritual things. And I think one of the things that's kind of kept me and moved me toward being politically conservative is, you know, the teachings of, you know, Christ, and what my parents, you know, taught me about just if you believe that you can do all things through Christ strengthen you, if you believe that all things work together for the good for them to love the Lord, quote unquote, but if you believe these things for real, if you really believe what the Bible says for real, how can you believe in a white supremacy? Like, that's blasphemy unto Christ. Like, how dare you say that some man is ever in any life supreme? That's why, like, the biggest thing I have with the wokies, I don't use that term. I can't do that. Like, I like the term, I don't use that term. Anytime you see me use that term, even if it's written out, it's in quotes, because there is no way in the world that there is some white man, Black man, anyone supreme over me. The only thing supreme over me is Jesus Christ, my Lord, Savior, God. Y'all bugging. You know what I mean? That's something I can't get with. But a lot of even that type of talk, when you look at, like, you know, Jamal Bryant and things like that, where that's kind of taken over the church. That's that civil rights kind of thing where they elevate, you know, their Blackness over Christ. Because if you believe in Christ the way you say, you believe that Jesus come back for you, all these things that you say you believe, then how does that congruent with you? Oh, but Trump gonna do this, and all them Democrats gonna do that, and all like, how are you a believer in Christ for real? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and wouldn't that, to you saying I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, would that not even kind of line up with pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because you have this Christ giving you this strength to do that? So you're not mad at that statement because you feel like you can.
Let's talk like the wokies. God is the creative energy. The energy of the creator is in you. So if you are imbued with the energy of the creator, then how are you letting some rando white person? This is why, okay, when I did the Hood Conservative podcast, they were talking about the whole thing with Mark Eric. No, the Mark guy, the Mark guy who's who did the whole thing with Lily Gaddis. She called him a nigger on the Piers Morgan thing. Mark Lamont Hill. Okay, yes, Mark Lamont Hill. Right, the whole thing. The thing that pissed me off so much about that with Mark Lamont Hill was that he selected himself to be a victim, because Lily Gaddis is some random TikTok hoe who just only got clout off saying nigga. This bitch is like 2 minutes off of feet pics. You know what I mean? And you're letting this bitch trigger you, a Black man with more fucking degrees than the thermometer, who goes on TV and talks about all these Black intellectual issues. You know what I mean? I'm ratchet as fuck. I won't let that hoe get me off my shit. Say nigga, bitch. Who the fuck? But this is the type of thing where, again, back to Christianity, where you have these ministers who are, I believe in Christ, whatever, but then you let some random earthly white man says nigger, and like your whole day is done. Like, what happened to your belief in Christ? Like, these niggas don't, like my mother would say before she died, so these niggas don't believe in God for real. Like, they say that, you know what I mean? But if you really believe in God for real, then a lot of this racial stuff wouldn't even make sense. It's really blasphemy unto him for real. Like the type of like idolatry he will put above whatever. Like, for example, you know, I voted for Trump, obviously 3 times, unlike a lot of these hoes. We talk about that. But if Trump didn't win and Kamala won, which I wouldn't have wanted, I'm still going to be okay because I can do things righteous to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to still be okay because God is God. God will take care of me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ever going to like, oh my God, it's all over because this earthly person is the president. You know what I mean? So as far as I think that the overlap Christian conservative, I think there are a lot of people online who like clout chase as Christians or who's Christian pundits, whatever. I think that, and I've talked to you about this, whatever. I'm not an advocate of LGBT or the gay community. I'm really not. Like, a lot, they're actually quite annoying to me, to be honest. But I do feel like a lot of these people tend to pick on gay because, and even in the church, they do this because it's easy, it's simple, it's an quote unquote outward sin.
Fall into it.
Right, and it's an easy way for clicks and clouds. And the gays, just like the blacks, are easily triggered. You know what I mean? So you start talking about gay shit, it's going to be the clicks, it's going to be the clout. You're going to get the argument, you're going to get the rise you want, people, whatever. But I think that one of the things that, you know, a lot of people pay attention to what Jesus said, but Jesus said, you know, that if a man is lusting, you know, after a woman in his mind, you know what I mean? It's just as bad as for, according to him, as him actually doing it. And I think a lot of people try to put weights on sin. This sin is more than this sin, more than that sin. If you are, you know, working out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling and trying to get you right, you ain't really got that much time to pick on the next person for whatever it is they got going on. Because you can say all day, this, that, and the gay, but guess what? If Jesus come back, that trumpet sound, you caught in sin, you stub your toe, you said, oh, fuck, you did that, whatever, guess what? You going the same hell the gay's going to. So what I suggest you do is you work your own thing. Now, I'm very much against, like I said, I'm against the LGBT movement. I'm against them targeting kids. I'm very much actually my video just got banned on TikTok the other day because I went on Newsmax talking about, you know, basically I said that, you know, how is it that we talk about Diddy grooming, R. Kelly grooming, but these damn drag queens in our kids, how is that not grooming? Oh, TikTok didn't like that. Okay, TikTok took that down with the quickness.
I'm not gonna like that. Before you go on,
and try to give me a strike and everything.
Yeah,
and on TV. I was on Newsmax. This was not like I was in studio on TV. This was not like hate speech, me sitting at home in my car talking shit about fuck these faggots, kill it. No, with nothing of that nature. I was on national effing TV. Like crazy.
Sitting in my car, that's something I would do. Chocolate Russian said, Sir said 2 minutes off of feet pics. And you're absolutely right. Anthony Hicks says common sense isn't common. Correct. Clearly, some explicit intelligence says this brother speaking, and you are, and I love my girl Meek. Thank you all for joining and watching us and just joining in the conversation. You know, it's so funny because just hearing you say some of the scriptures, you're absolutely right. Because if I will look to the hills from which cometh my help cometh from the Lord. So how can you actually be this Christian and, as you said, so afraid of white supremacy, or even buying into the idea that white supremacy is real? You know, I've said it so many times that I don't buy into white supremacy because in order for me to buy into that, I would have to believe in Black inferiority. And I just don't. Are there some people, white, who feel like they're better than me simply because of skin color? Yes, but I don't buy into the idea that white supremacy is real. I think there's something wrong in their mind. And on the flip side, are there Black people who feel like they are just supreme because they're Black? Yes, but that's just a thought, and you don't have to buy into that concept at all on either side. Nor do you have to be afraid of it, nor do you have to wake up every day wondering, oh my God, oh, I hope the white man don't come for me today. You know, God. I mean, they're looking for every opportunity to be scared of white people. Like this whole microaggression. Yeah. She told me my hair was beautiful, but look at but is your hair not beautiful, girl? Because if somebody has a problem with your hair, it's you. It's not this person that, you know, it's, oh God.
The thing about offense is that you have to take offense. So meaning that I have to be offended. Like with what happened with Mark Lamont Hill. He chose to be offended by this girl. I'm sorry, but a OnlyFans fucking TikTok feet bitch is never going to offend me. I don't care what you say. You know what I mean? So it's like, so when you believe in white supremacy, it's like, I could be, Will Smith. I could be, some, black Bob Johnson, black billionaire, and some homeless white man calls me a nigger and I'm reduced to nothing. Like,
to nothing.
What? You know what I mean? Like that, but that's what you're saying when you push that bullshit. And the whole point of pushing that, that's why I say often people get mad at me. I don't believe in a black community. There's no such thing as a black community. You are a black individual. You're not a community. Because the thing about the black community and the trick of the black community is that the black community only services those at the top of the community because they are our representatives, our Al's, our Jessies, our Jasmine Crockett's, our Jamal Bryant, all these people. They are representatives. So they get to go into white America, great America, corporate America, and say, gimme, 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 gimme. We're gonna, we're going to boycott you because I represent all these blacks. And if you don't go with my organization and do what I say and give me some money, then I'm going to have all these blacks turned against you, like what they do in the Target and things that, or for another example, look at what Al Sharpton did with his boycott in Harlem at Costco. He's had this whole thing of black people in his whole march. We marched all these black people into Costco because Costco refused not to drop the DEI, whatever after Trump. But you marched all these people past all these small black businesses in Harlem to go to a corporate conglomerate, but you care about black people. Okay. So you're going to march past all these small. This is 125th Street in Harlem. This is Harlem, like a quote unquote black mecca. But again, it was about whatever he was going to get for clout for being against Trump, and on the back end from Costco. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying.
Al doesn't live in the so-called black community. I'm sure
there is no such thing, and there's no white community.
Long time ago.
There is, but black community is not even. But think, black community is not even a neighborhood. Like my neighborhood, obviously where I live right now, is mostly black. This is not the black community. What the black community is a mental construct. You have to do everything according to what the black community says. Nobody can make a move. Oh well, Shemeka, can I vote for him? Because what the black community will say? What does Shemeka think? What is this one that, like? If we are all as black individuals come up as individuals, then the whole community comes up because we're coming up. It's like everybody's looking for a savior. Everybody's looking for Harriet Tubman. Everybody's looking for MLK. You don't need that. Like the whole point of Harriet Tubman
feels like we have to have it. We're the only. You don't hear the white community. You don't hear. You never hear that. We're the only ones that are always looking for somebody else to do what we can do. What we are able and powerful enough to do, but yet we put so much trust, hope, and get our feelings hurt, whatever. And I just say our, people say, why do you say our? I just do. But
it's black folks, our.
Because you're looking for someone else to do what you need to do yourself, for yourself and for your family. And so you're mad, but the finger is pointed at you. It's not about the white man having his foot on your neck or whatever. It's you. You're your own contortionist. Your foot is on your own neck.
And the thing is that the people at the top that profit ain't no foot in their neck. Like Maxine Waters doesn't even live in your neighborhood. Maxine Waters got her millions. Jamal Bryant got his millions. All the people that got the millions, you're not getting yours because you're stuck looking around, thinking about and getting mad and trying to, avenge George Floyd. I mean, even they got money. My thing is, it's time for black folks and white people too as well. Start thinking about you because they do this. I said before, they do the same things in the white community. Look at, for example, a place like West Virginia, a place that's run by Republicans, the poorest state in the union. What do they tell them? Oh, Raheem and the product is your problem. No, Raheem is not your problem, West Virginia. That white man you voting for, that Republican who's talking the same shit, who's in the same uniparty as the Democrats that we talk about, he's your problem. But as long as black people are your problem and white people are our problem, and we're doing this, we never look at the fact that fucking Bernie Sanders and Lindsey Graham are best friends and been friends for years. Like we have this whole thing where like we think these people are against each other. It's the fucking uniparty. The one moment that changed my life, I remember seeing. It was a picture of Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. They were on the plane going to Mandela's funeral on the plane together. And they got that picture of like Michelle Obama, like smiling, looking at George Bush's paintings. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Wait. I thought Kanye told me that this nigga don't like black people. And now Obama, our black president, y'all in there kikiing and chilling. And then come to find out Obama and Bush is cousins. Did you know that? They're cousins.
I saw that in a documentary and I was like,
cousins.
Wow. Yeah.
Candace covered that, and that's been covered a few times. They're cousins through his mama.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because everybody just assumed that Obama was like this swagalicious. Oh, now we got this black president. He smoked cigarettes, and it's like Obama was not raised in the hood in Chicago.
Not at all. Obama went to fucking Indonesia or something. He has no. And but what's funny is that Obama is, blackity black. Obama blackity black. Joy Reid, another one, immigrant, black. But you got, ADOS, FBA, people like us who, like myself, my family still live in the land we had since the end of slavery, since it was given to my 6-time great grandfather, Hampshire Brown, and we all still there. You know what I mean? My mama buried there, everybody. So we have it's traceable. You know what I mean? You don't get more nigga than us, okay? You don't get more black American than us. But we're the coons, though. But you have these black people that's from all Kamala too, another one from somewhere else, another foreigner. These foreigners are put in front of us to say that they're our leader, they're our whatever. Look at, for example, Wes Brown in Maryland, right? He another one, foreigner. He didn't approve the reparations thing. And my thing with reparations is this. It's not even so much about whether we deserve reparations or whatever. It's not even about that. I don't even go into that. I go into the fact that y'all promising niggas reparations. You're getting votes off of it. So come through with the shit. That's what it is for me. Because I always knew it was bullshit. But that's why I tell white people, and I don't mean to sound like a wokie when I say this, white people, please don't get in a reparations conversation because they want you to get in that conversation so bad. Because as soon as a white person says the Civil War, they say, see, there's the white people. They don't want you to have it. No, it's time for us black people to bring it to other black people and say, look, if this is real, then where's the vote at, Jasmine Crockett? You want to crip walk and do the little dance to Kendrick Lamar to my 40 acres and mule? There ain't no legislation for no reparations on the floor. What is you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean?
Not match your natural texture. I'm gonna always go there. Y'all hate white people so much, or non-black, whatever, but you can't keep their hair out your head. I can't stand that. It's
time for us. It's time for us to bring that narrative back to the Democrats so they can stop doing this reparations lie over and over again. You had no intention, never had any intention to do that because, again, why would the party of the poor want you to be rich? Makes no sense. You wouldn't vote for them anymore if you had options. Money is freedom. Money is option. That's why all this, we looking for freedom. If you want to get freedom, get money out here. Figure out what that is, what your thing is, what your it is. Get your land, buy your house. Like, that's the only freedom there is out here. You're not going to get no freedom through no vote for anybody, to be honest.
Yeah,
I rock with Trump because Trump's policies are closest to what I need to be the most free for myself, meaning that as a blue-collar black American, blue-collar American, I have to look out for blue-collar jobs.
Exactly.
And the only person that's doing any semblance, and he ain't perfect, I get it, but the only person doing any semblance of that would be Trump. It definitely won't be the other side. They're importing them in by the million. So even if you can't rock with Trump forever, the fact that he's at least stopped the sieve, there's no more anybody coming on the border, at least for now. Thank God. I'm good. If Trump don't do nothing else, that's good enough for me.
What we voted for, right?
That's what we voted for, and I need black folks to see that because these people coming in, they're not coming. Ain't nobody walking from Tegucigalpa, Honduras, getting raped through the Darien Gap and walking from Venezuela and shit for your black ass. They didn't come here for you. They didn't come here for your benefit. So like they actually, if you want to get technical, I got illegals on Twitter calling me all kinds of monkeys and all kinds of shit. They come here and try to disparage you, black person.
They do, and they are some of the most racist people. Oh my God, I used to work at a school, and I'm telling you, some of the most racist, condescending, belittling people were those who were not even supposed to be here. But you have to take their kids in. You can't say, "Oh, show me proof that you're supposed to be here before we educate your child." No, you have to take their child, you have to educate them, and then you have to have a teacher or a worker there who can actually, ESL person, to actually make sure that child gets the education that American children would, but at a very much higher cost.
Right. So they couldn't have took that money and gave it to your kids in a reparations package?
Yeah.
But again, it's not going to happen because you are too scared not to vote for them. There's no threat. It's just like anything else. As I just said the other day, my analogy is always, if you give up the pussy, he ain't going to marry you, girl.
Okay.
Why buy them cow? You get the milk for free. They getting your vote for free. Why would they have to do anything for your vote when they get it for free? You already told them, I'm gonna always vote for you. I'm never voting for Trump. I'm never voting for the white supremacists. Okay, great. They can say, thank you. Let me get these illegals. Let me go cheat on you with these Latinas. Let me go get these gays. Let me get whatever other vote constituency. Because you're at the end of the day, when everybody in Congress wants to get elected. That's really what it's about. And going back to the Christian conservative thing, actually, because it kind of ties in.
Yeah.
I think that with the whole clout, going back to the clout chasing people online who tend to, target gays, say gay can't be conservative, you can't be conservative, you can't be there, or the conservative fucking, police out here, whatever. Jesus said, give unto God what's God's, Caesar what's Caesar's. We live in a political environment, you know what I mean? It's a binary choice. So at the end of the day, I understand you may not like a gay person. I get it. It's disgusting. It's going to all the things. I get all the things, all the abomination, all the things, all the scriptures, all the things. But better a gay that's going to vote for Trump than a gay that's going to vote for the other side. Because guess what? If you have this standard of, the gays, this one can't come and this one can't come and that one can't come and you can't be this, you can't be that, then guess what? The liberals going to win and you get nothing. You get more abortion, more murder, more whatever. You know what I mean? Like you at the end, like it's we have to be practical. I understand the standard of Christianity, but that standard is in the church. That's what the point of that was. We still have to live in a world of other people that we don't necessarily have to get along with. I understand that there are people who don't like black people who vote for Republicans. But let's be real about it. There are people online or whatever in other places who, I don't like niggers, but I vote for Trump. So am I going to not vote for Trump? Am I going to not vote for less taxes? Am I not going to not vote for a border being closed? Okay, guess what? Hey, maybe white supremacists are smart enough to realize that these illegals are coming in and killing up everybody. And we happen to agree on that point. So what am I like? Well, you can't, it's not a total binary.
Should they identify, or is it necessary? Do we care if they identify?
I don't care. There are people
and not conservative, or because I've seen that argument. Well, they're Republican then, but not conservative. But it's so many of the policies line up together.
I consider myself conservative because if I feel like conservative, honestly, yes, it's probably leaned a lot more further to the left. The Overton window's moved over the years. I look at conservative. If you want to conserve the country and don't hate America and don't think that it's a racist place that should be obliterated, then you're conservative. And that's kind of like what you want to conserve the fucking country, okay? Like I really don't care what you call me. I don't really it doesn't really matter to me. Like I said, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I don't get in those arguments. I don't even really be on X like that anymore. Like after they done suspended me for 1,000, that's why I said Elon, fuck that nigga. But after they done suspended me 1,000 fucking times, I'm just kind of over it. And I just feel like the Instagram and kind of TikTok space is actually a lot less toxic. I just feel there's a lot of those toxic arguments with those same, and it's always going to be the same fucking 5 or 10 creators doing the same thing. You already know what the tweets are before they already tweet them. My thing is like, who cares? I think a lot of that argument is something that lives online and doesn't live in the lives of real people. People are voting for their finances. People are voting for their safety. People are voting for crime. That's fine. I don't really care whether you will call me. So I'm not conservative. You're not conservative.
My children,
I give a shit. Like, is that paying any of my bills? No.
Yeah, and I want my girls' future or my grandkids' future to look more similar to my childhood. Or I didn't go to school and there was some teacher at the door saying, "How do you identify? What are your pronouns? Do you like girls? Do you like boys?" That was never the conversation. So when I actually go to the poll, it's things like that. Can I afford to feed my family without working 2 or 3 or 4 jobs? That's what I'm paying attention to. And I think that's what most people think about every day, unless you're just completely ignorant, as most people are, and you just go to the polls and you vote according to skin color. Skin color,
popularity.
Group and popularity, and trying to group yourself like that is not going to get you ahead. We need to take a really close look at how voting like that has not helped. It has not.
It never does. But that's the point. The whole point is that if we, promise you reparations, if we tell you that Trump is a racist, if we tell you all that, and we have to say if you ain't black, vote for me, which was such a sad day because I really thought. And I'm naive, clearly. I thought that black people were going to be way more upset over that than they were. I thought that, oh my God, that was done. I was like, black folks going to have a fit. And they were not at all. And that was actually very sad. But my thing to the black Democrats, if you're going to say that, right? If you're going to be that, if you're going to be like, okay, well, you're a coon if you don't vote for us, you're disbanded from black community, you're excommunicated, then where are the results of black people? And then where are the fucking reparations? Because my thing is like, I could believe that if they came through reparations or came through with some amazing result where the hood is just like amazing and clean and awesome all of a sudden, I could say, you know what? I'm rocking with Democrats. They did shit black. They did what the fuck they said they was going to do.
Right.
Year after year after year after year of the same bullshit. And it's all it is just us. We're fighting Trump. But okay, you're fighting Trump. You're anti-Trump. And I mean this for regular people. I don't mean this for people who are online who get paid for this. I just mean regular person. You're fighting Trump. You're anti-Trump. What is that getting you? Is your neighborhood better? Why is it? And even, for example, now what's going on with all this, the shoplifting and whatever in New York? I saw a report where they were saying that, obviously, we're blamed. You see the videos online on X where they show the people robbing stores. Oh, look at the blacks. They're robbing stores. This is what they do. And they're going to have the person come out 65 IQ. We've seen all the, it's the same dumb bullshit. That's why I hate X. It's the same fucking bullshit. You know what's going to happen. They're going to say 65 IQ and the blacks can't keep a low trust society. Blah, 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 all the same dumb shit. We see the memes. We know the accounts. We've seen it.
I prefer X because I can actually say faggot and retarded.
Yeah. But
that's my favorite.
They found in New York.
Everybody else hates me.
They found in New York that of all the crime, it's like the same 330 people that they're putting in jail, letting out, putting in, letting out, putting in, letting out. And they're in the media. These people are the representatives of the whole of black youth. We just out here just stealing and robbing and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because of what these people are doing and like what they've put out. So now we're all bad because of that. And a lot of it comes in the fact that many of us, we coddle criminality. You know what I mean? We coddle criminality. We're so scared to NIMBY. Like, because my thing is I plant flowers on my block in my area. They were like, when I moved into this block, there was like all these like empty flower planters, whatever. I put flowers in them and whatever. I had so much difficulty last year when I started. I had, crackheads stealing my flowers and shit, people trying to vandalize, all this other shit. I had to really just wild on people. Now they get it. Like they understand I'm here now. You know what I mean? So now they call me, it's Philly. So we use Philly slang. They call me the plant bull. I'm the plant bull. So they just, they see me on the show, they're gonna plant bull. You know what I mean? They know that now. But I did it because it's like, why is only Rittenhouse and Center City have nice flowers? Why can't we have nice flowers in the black area? You know what I mean? Why can't our shit be nice? Why can't we say NIMBY? My thing is not about systemic, whatever, black men in jail, whatever. I don't really want niggas in jail, whatever. My thing is, if you're gonna sell your drugs, that's fine. Whatever, people gonna do drugs regardless. Don't sell them on this block. The same way you wouldn't sell them on the white folks block. Why you sell them on our fucking block? And that's our permissiveness. That's our not taking the blue. Looking at the police as, oh, the police are horrible and scary. I don't look at the police like that. Them niggas work for me. When I call these niggas, y'all best to motherfucking come. It's niggas out here. Y'all need to get these niggas off the block doing whatever they're supposed to be. Like, get the fuck out. Like, this is what we need to take the police back instead of looking at it. I'll give an example. When I was living in New York, I was a building manager, building in the Bronx. And one of my buildings, one of the buildings I was managing, neighbor was complaining. It was around the corner from me. And she was like, these drug dealers ain't in the building selling crack. We got cameras installed. This was right when COVID was started, 2020. Our cameras installed. We caught the whole crack deal on camera, caught the whole thing. It was on camera. You caught the crack, the drugs. Oh, no, there was no denying this was a full-on crack deal. Boom, right? Take the video. I take it around the corner to the police station, around the fucking corner. It was literally around the corner. I walk it there. I'm like, look, hey, I'm just like, look, we got drug dealers in our building. Like, I'm just wondering, can y'all like put like a car, outside on the block, y'all eat y'all donuts out there, you know what I mean? Where y'all normally just like eat donuts on our block, you know what I mean? Just so we have that presence that, deterrent. I'm not asking for SEAL Team 6. I'm not asking to bust no doors. I'm just saying you see there's a drug deal going on. And what's crazy was in the drug deal video, right after it, my neighbor's 8-year-old daughter came right outside in the hallway, right as the drug deal was finishing up. You know what I mean? Like, so can we like sit a car outside? Can we like run up? Because it literally was around the corner from the police precinct. So I go in there, police, they sunned me. Oh, and then on some like basically like ignore me. Cause they really just straight up sunned me. I said, okay. And at this one I had a much more bigger following on X. I had my first X account. I put that shit up on X, tagged them in it, 40th precinct, 12,000 views, and 2 days later, here these niggas go on my X. Oh, hey, oh, hey. How are you?
Okay.
Like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, we need to start taking advantage of our police. Instead of being scared of them, make them niggas work for us. Is what the fuck they there for. That's why our taxes pay for. And the only reason why we're looking at police and occupying forces because we are coddling a lot of these niggas who are criminals. Let's not act like Jacob Blake, for example, who got shot, the whole thing, the whole Kenosha, all that Kyle Rittenhouse, all that came from the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, all came from Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake was being arrested because he was suspected of raping a black woman.
Yes.
So fuck the black woman being raped. Fuck her. You know what I mean? Fuck black crime victims because this person got arrested by somebody white and now Black Lives Matter and now like this is bullshit. Like, and then I'm about to make you mad, but whatever. But then when we move someplace outside of the black community to Shady Acres with the white folks, then we want to get mad because they don't want us there. Why would they? If this is your community, this is how you treat your own community where you come from. If you on TV, coddling criminality and every criminal is your friend and you don't fuck black victims because Raheem got arrested and now he's the hero. Even George Floyd got arrested.
If you're one of those, you're only authentically black if you coddle.
Right, if you're that. And if you're not that, then you're white, you're a coon, you're this, you're that, you're the third. But it's so funny that when you get a little bit of money, you then want to move to Shady Acres. I don't want to live in Shady Acres. I like living amongst black people, personally. I don't have an issue with the hood. Like, I really don't have a problem with that. I like being able to go to get a haircut and Chinese restaurant and all my normal shit. I'm not one of the people that want to be out in the suburbs and a million miles away from everything and everybody. I just don't understand why the hood can't be better. But it starts with us who live here. It's in our own minds of thinking of ourselves as better. Because if you're a homeowner, these people are fucking with your property values.
Yeah, I don't
bringing
mind
it down with this bullshit. Like, why are we not thinking of that?
I don't mind living among black people. I don't want to live among niggas, as Chris Rock would explain it.
Yeah. but I think that it's time for well-meaning black people. Huh?
When you were here, did you go to my grandma's house? I can't remember.
Yeah, we stopped by.
Now that's the hood.
Yeah. My thing is that the hood changes when the minds of the people change. Like going back to another scripture, do not conform but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It starts here. The hood is just literally a physical place. It's a place. You know what I mean? But
when
the state of mind is what really matters.
Yeah. When I was young, although it was, low income, I was right around the corner from the projects. It was low income housing, middle class, whatever. It was so safe. We could still play outside, walk to the store. I could go to the projects and hang out with my friends. Would I let my children do that? Absolutely not, because now the mindset is totally different. It's like back then, it was just because of the income. Maybe that's where they were living.
And there was still dignity. And that's the point. Like, just because you're poor doesn't mean that you can't do your best, live your best, and live in some type of dignity. And I think that's what a lot of it is. We've lost, as black people, our dignity. Everything is ratchet. Everything is like just low vibrational.
Yes. My closest friend lived in the projects and they had a piano. In the projects, they had a piano. Now, I don't see that. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but I just don't see that type of people in the projects anymore that have respect, class, and dignity and can button up and still carry themselves because they understood, this is about my bank account. This isn't.
I think a lot of it too is that many of us don't go to church anymore, and I don't, we don't have a reason to dress up into those things. And but a lot of the churches also have become, corrupt as well. So I mean, so that's a very symbiotic thing. But as far as going back to the theme is concerned, I think that conservative it means a lot of things to a lot of people. I think there are people that want to gatekeep that for clout on X. And I mean, who cares? You're an X account. Are you really affecting people's real lives for real? I don't think that anybody should be. If you can align on not even the value, because I hate the whole my values. The values is so like it can mean so many different things. It's kind of like pseudo-Christian. It's kind of like I'm better than you. Like my values, my conservative values, even my liberal values. So it's like if we can get aligned on the money, if we can get aligned on the legal gotta fucking go out this bitch, we can get aligned on crime and the things that actually fucking matter. I don't give a fuck what you call yourself. Conservative, liberal, libertarian. I think of myself more as like small L libertarian, small C conservative, where I lean to the conservative side of things. I basically want a world where, we are judged by merit. I do believe this is the greatest country in the world. Ain't no other country out here doing no better. That gives people more of an opportunity than this one. So I don't hate it. I want to conserve the country. So I guess for that reason, I'd be conservative. When I fit into somebody's box of what conservative is, no, I done cussed people out and said all kinds of shit throughout this thing. So obviously I don't fit into that conservative box, but I just feel that it's just so funny to me being a person that grew up in true holiness church, whose mother Father, true holiness, no smoking, no drinking, no cussing, no movies, no true holiness. That these people that are smoking, drinking, cussing, whatever on X, the Christian conservatives call themselves so holy. It's just like, you niggas busting hell wide open. What are you talking about? Like, you know, as far as what my standard of what heaven and hell and true holiness is, for real, where, you know, my mother, I did not see my mother in a pair of pants until I was 16 years old. Okay, like no makeup, prayer cap, like
no
all night prayer
in the church either. No open-toed shoes in the church.
No open-toed shoes.
Yeah,
skirt all the way down to your length. All night prayer on Friday. When I tell you, I remember being a kid going to church, we have all night prayer. I fall asleep on my knees praying. We literally all night prayer. They would serve this really, really good split pea soup one of the deacons would make, which I remember, and that's why I like split pea soup today. Because one of the deacons made this really good split pea soup. But we would have prayer, all night prayer on Friday nights. And like, I come from like the old school. So when these pseudo-Christian conservative influencers today talk about I'm so Haley and right, it's just like, you were just drinking wine, like you cheating on your wife, like you lusting after this one, like work out your own soul salvation and shut the fuck up, like please. Okay. Goodbye.
So we have Roddy Rod says people who keep screaming white supremacy have a defeatist mindset. Crystal says they don't patronize Black businesses, but expect us to spend our money at their establishment. Miguel says, hola, hermana Shemeka. I was number 9. Thank you. Number 9, we have more people watching on X than we do YouTube. But if you're in the YouTube chat, hit the thumbs up. Okay? Thank you so much. Before we go, Benji, because
we can hit the hot topics too. We can do like a rapid fire because I do want to talk about how Remy Ma's trash.
Rapid fire.
Okay. We can lighten the mood a little bit. I know this is kind of like deep. We didn't know where our conversations go all over the place. This is like how we are at like real life. So.
This is how we are. I mean, if we had people that were just like listening in on our conversation, I mean, and then we'll say, let me call you back. And then it's 2 more hours after that. Rapid fire. Cardi B and Offset's divorce. Do you think it's wrong because Offset and Stephon Diggs were cordial, cool? I don't know if they called themselves friends, but feedback on that.
I mean, the celebrity world is a small world. The celebrity world is a small world. So, I mean, you know, it was obvious that was going to happen. I just feel like where Cardi messed up was that she married a man who was beneath her as far as like fame, money, whatever. And I think he caught her up as soon as she got hot. He was very smart and caught her up, but I think that he ended up being ultimately insecure. That's why he cheated on her.
All right.
She learns better, and I hope she does better. I like her. I'm a New Yorker. You know, I'm a New Yorker. I live in the Bronx. I like Cardi B.
You like her with Stephon Diggs? I don't
know about Stephon Diggs, but I don't want her to begin to worship this man and being petty to the old man. Like, don't make it where it's like a get out under a new one to get over the old one. You have kids. You want to, you know, make sure that, you know, you're moving in a way that's, you know, that's smart. Don't just do it because what if Stephon Diggs cheat? You know what I mean? Then you'll be in the same situation.
Yeah, I want her to be more of a mother. When she ran down that list of costs that she said, you know, she was trying to call Offset a deadbeat dad, and she ran down the price of what she spends on her kids.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, it seemed like to me you would come off a little bit cheaper if you were just a mama.
And she's having $300 an hour piano lessons for culture. Who was teaching her? Liberace?
Okay.
John Legend? $300 an hour? Shit, let me know how to play piano. So I teach coaches a piano. $300 an hour for piano lessons? Like,
that's
she got Alicia Keys teaching her piano? Like, that's crazy.
Somebody. I mean,
right.
Okay. Halle Bailey and DDG. I don't know if you're caught up on.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know much about these people because I'm at that age where I'm over 40. So like I kind of like have a cutoff. I didn't see the Little Mermaid. I know someone made her famous. Her and her sister were like I discovered the Beyonce. They had the Ungodly Hour album. That Ungodly Hour, you know, I'm turned off by that. You know, end of the day, like I cuss you out. I'm ratchet, but I'm still old school Christian deep down inside. So that Ungodly Hour, turn me off from that. It's very like Illuminati, you know, Jay-Z, do what thou wilt vibes, then I'm good on that. So I don't really know much about them. But the guy, he kind of seems like a jerk a little bit, but I really don't know much. But I hope everybody's young and happy and moves on. It seems like it's just more young Hollywood ratchet foolishness. I think it probably would have been better for her to get with a guy that was more in her vein of like where she was trying to move with the Disney and the movies and things. I feel like this kind of like social media rapper DDG guy, which I'm sure he's probably lovely in his own right. I don't really know much about him, but he seems to be holding her back from outside looking in. You know what I mean? I don't really know. But he seems to be kind of holding her back. And now you got his baby, so you're kind of devalued in a way as far as like those type of men. No offense, but it's going to be a little more difficult for you to get the type of man that would be kind of more in the direction that her career seemed like it was going in, more of a mainstream direction. Yeah. But hey, it happened with Ciara, so I mean, you know, nothing's impossible. Because Ciara got Russell, and I think her baby Future was like 3 months old, and Russell came right in. So I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah, Ciara, as it appears, though, also focused on her family for a while. That's one of the things I love about Rihanna. She's having these babies back to back to back. And although her and A$AP Rocky aren't married, she seems to be really focusing on her family. She's not still showing up everywhere half naked, which is the beef I have with Cardi B. I don't like that.
I think with Rihanna, to be honest, and with Cardi B, I think they're both scared to put out music because they know that it's not going to do well in this marketplace, in this space. You know, it's not.
Times
right. With Rihanna was the last of the real record label stars in which there was a lot of, you know, there were, you know, because I come from, you know, I was an intern at 2 record labels actually at Def Jam. I worked with Beyonce Daddy and everything. I have so many record label stories, but like when you come from that kind of record label thing where like it's controlled, you know, she kind of still had that. Now everything's social media. Everything is, you know, there's a million of people listening. Like Mariah Carey's new single out. You know what I mean? People are like, I haven't heard of that. What is that? You know, what is that? You're not going to even know about it because there's so many different things. You know what I mean? And Rihanna
has a new single out.
She does. It's like right out. I haven't heard it yet or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like as I'm saying, there's so many different avenues now where it's not like where and Rihanna, the name Rihanna doesn't have the cachet with the young people as it has with us. You know what I mean? She's considered kind of more older now. She made that new song for that movie. Rihanna does have a new single out for that movie. She's in the movie. It's terrible. So, you know what I mean? I think that exactly. It's not what she's not an event like she used to be. And then she's made money with the Fenty and the whatever. It's like, why even do music? Because if you do music and then you make a flop, then you're going to be known as the flop forever. You know what I mean? So I think that's why her, and I think also why Cardi are just not going to make new albums. I don't think they're ever going to make new albums for real.
And I know that when like someone like Mary J. Blige, who I have been a fan of since my senior year in high school.
Yeah, new album too.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. But when I don't like when they try to keep up with what's out like hot now because Mary was always covered. She was always, you know, dressed. And now when I see her, she's like half naked. And I'm like, Mary, why would you wait until your 50s?
That's also naked? Why I don't. Yeah, why I don't like a lot of. I don't like Beyonce's like more recent stuff. Nothing, you know. I just don't. To me, after like 4, after she went with dropped the whole Secret album in 2013, it became. It's like it's been like she has to move with like the culture and it's political and it's like. And then the whole thing with the Jay-Z and the cheating and the Becky, it's just like it's all of that. It's just Beyonce is older than me, so like I just feel like she's lost me as a 41-year-old. Like we were in the same age group, you know what I mean? And I just feel like her music is for the young people. I'm just at that age where I don't really do a lot of like the new stuff. It's kind of like, oh, that's for the young people. I'll listen to I'm still in, you know, Mary, Faith, Monica, Brandy, Kim, Music Soul Child. Like I'm still on the 90s, 2000s, you know, I mean, with it. And I'm probably just going to stay for the rest of my life. I'm actually going to see Kiki Wyatt, you know, in July. Like, I'm all about the 90s R&B. I'm all about, like, that's kind of where I am. And even, like, you know, with the pop and whatever, but it's not what it used to be. I can't really get with too much of what these kids are doing today.
Yeah, and keep y'all clothes on. You do not have to even compete with what the kids are doing today.
And don't be bored. Like, have you seen Mary out here with these boots on? And she's kind of like, here the mic, here y'all sing. Like, like it's like you're not even really interested in what you're doing no more. Like it shows. Like even Mariah did some show. She's in a show in Vegas where she's like laying on the couch singing, and it's like, we paying you. We should be laying on the couch watching you, not you laying on the couch watching us. Like it just feels very lazy and a lot of our older, but it's not everybody because you know you got that tour right now with Patti LaBelle, Stephanie Mills, Shaka Khan, and Gladys Knight, and they all, you know, look and sound great, and they're in their 70s and 80s. So it's all about how you preserve yourself. I think a lot of these girls, Mariah, Whitney, unfortunately, they smoke cigarettes. You know what I mean? You can't be out here smoking cigarettes. You trying to have, you know, if I could sing like Mariah, I would or Music Soul Child or anyone, I'd never smoke again. You know what I mean? So you can't be out here smoking and knowing that you have a voice like that to try to preserve it. But
I think a prime example is New Edition. They go to the concerts and concerts are packed. And we are paying to see Candy Girl. We want to see the whole old school and have that feeling. They aren't out here trying to be NBA young boys. You know, they are who they are, and we love them for that. So I
like that NBA young boy. Like, that's a name I've heard. Couldn't tell you who that was. Like, if he came and smacked my mama, I wouldn't know who that boy was. But I've heard that name.
Trump pardoned him, and I wouldn't be able to point him out in the lineup.
And then, Trump pardoned him. Trump pardoned all these black folks. But remember, Trump hates black people, wants to kill black people. One thing I would say about this pardon situation is that whatever you want to say about Trump, he's clearly not a white supremacist, because if I'm a white supremacist, I want to pardon none of these niggas. Because if I'm a white supremacist, I don't pardon black people for things. I want black people to stay in jail and die, right? So why would someone who is supposedly a white supremacist pardon black people and then say, oh, well, he's doing it because he wants a black vote? No, he already won without the black vote. Popular vote, 7 swing states without your black ass. So he don't need your vote now. So what would it be? Maybe he's just not a monster. And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's not about kissing Trump's ass. It's about, I need black folks to understand that he's not this monster that he's being put out to you, that you have the courage to be able to stand against Democrats and say, we may not vote for you again. It ain't even about actually doing it, but at least give the possibility that you may not vote for these people. You know what I mean? Scare them a little bit into doing something for your black ass. Like try, you know what I mean? Like something, a little bit, please.
Last hot topic. Before I do, Raymond says, unfortunately, self-respect is becoming rare. That is absolutely true. It is so rare and it's so frustrating. Last but not least, your favorite, Remy Ma and Papoose. And I guess we have to add Clarissa Shields in there since she in the mix, you know.
Remy Ma, and I always liked her, but she's trash. And honestly, if you look, and now that I really look at this and pay attention, you kind of could have saw this coming, because when Papoose did his whole thing to the point of like ad nauseum, I love hip hop, the whole black love, black love, black love, black love. If you flip the reverse of that and that was a girl, you would see like, bitch, you're trying too hard. Like, that nigga don't really love you like that. Like, you're really pushing. And I think that's what it was. Remy Ma was like a nigga who went to jail, who ain't experienced whatever. And I think that he thought, if I'm gonna hold you down, just like a woman holds a man down, I'm gonna hold you down the whole time you're in jail. And when you come out, you're gonna be faithful to me, and we're gonna be back to being a family and whatever. And Remy Ma want to be outside. How he should have known it was gonna be a problem was when she said, I don't count the years that I was in jail. I feel like I'm the same age I was when I went in. And it's like, but these are the years that your husband spent holding you down. So these should be more years to your marriage, more years to add to whatever. But you're more concerned about being outside and your years of being young and hot and popping. And she had her 45th birthday. She looks really good. Her little bathing suit. She looks great. But I just think that it's fucked up that you strung this man along knowing good and damn well you was about to pop out and do you, and you didn't want to be married no more. You didn't want to be Papoose wife. And what's crazy with all this, where's the music at? Ain't no music with all this. The people love a picture, love to show their ass, you know, her, the Cardi B. But where the fuck? That's one thing I'll give Nicki. I love Nicki. One thing I'll give Nicki is that Nicki will put some music out in the midst of all the things. These girls, they love to talk, love to get on social media, love to do all this stuff. But there's like the thing that you're supposed to be quote unquote known for. There's no like actual music, but I just think Remy is trash for that. I hope that Papoose moves on with this new girl. The new girl seems nice. Hope they move on and they're able to, you know, parent. I just think that Remy Ma was less than honest. And I think that Papoose was less than honest with himself. And I think that's why he was doing the whole black love, black love, black love thing the same way a woman does it to try to overcompensate for what she may be actually missing in the relationship. I love that we get a chance about the relationship stuff because we always talk about like the political things, but that's another. We have all these relationship conversations as well. But I just think that he was overcompensating.
We're gonna circle back to some relationship stuff, absolutely. Because for me, even him going out to Clarissa Shields, I'm like, so he kind of likes women that are a little bit more masculine, that take the lead. And that's going to even play out with her eventually, because I
women
just
don't like
feel
that.
like by our nature, we want a man that's going to lead. We want a man.
Women don't like that. And I always tell my, women friends are looking, when they're looking, for advice or whatever too. And just in general, women, unfortunately, y'all tend to like assholes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he got to be a little bit of like, he got to have some edge to him. He can't be so agreeable. He can't be so predictable, because in the female nature, and I know I'm sounding like Myron Gaines or somebody, but in the female nature, which is the truth, he speaks a lot of truth. I have to say, I don't agree with everything he does, but he speaks a lot of truth. In the female nature, she's gonna get bored. She needs that push. She needs that. She needs to know that if I'm hitting him, my heart is hit, he's not gonna feel it. You know what I mean? They call it shit testing, as they would say in the manosphere, whatever. If I punch him in the chest, punch him in the stomach, he's not gonna feel it. And I think that with him being so accommodating and so that guy, I think a lot of times women think they want that, but in reality, when it plays out for them, it becomes an ick, as y'all love ick. Like my homegirl, I liked him. She'll be like, "Oh, I like this guy, and he's great." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." A week later, "Oh, I got the ick. He's gross. Oh my gosh, he did that."
Yeah, there's two types of men. I say, you have the one that's saying, "Oh my God, I hope she likes this penis," and then you have the man that says, "I know she wants this dick."
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's the woman want.
That's the one. We're gonna
probably, and I'm sure Remy Ma was probably seduced by some guy who came in, who's an asshole, who came in basically to fuck up her marriage. And you got Papoose at home trying to rub feet and cook dinners and shit. And it's just it unfortunately she got bored by that, and it's a shame, because ultimately she's gonna want to go back to that. But I think as men and women, there has to be a balance of that, kind of that asshole, but also you still want to be that gentle guy, as it should be a push and pull. But also it comes to the fact too, as far as women, their situation is different. There's kind of backwards, but with men and women in general, you got to find a man who really wants you for real. Because when a man wants you, men are actually not complicated at all. When a man is ready, I tell women all the time, when a man is ready to settle down, he gonna settle down with pretty much whatever's there, whatever choice he got. All right, well, I'm ready to settle down. I'm gonna be with her. All right, she here, I'm gonna be with her. You know what I mean? Like, men are not complicated. If you're finding that he's not giving you the rhythm that you need and it's complicated, he just don't want you, girl. Like, he don't want you. Like, men are not complicated. If a man wants you, you know it. And if you don't know it, you know it, because he don't want you. It's period. If a man will go after what he wants, and if he don't want you, and a lot of women struggle with that. They struggle with, because women make these things very complicated. And in this situation, Remy Ma is the nigga in this situation. No matter what, you know what I mean? Papoose do, you black love and all this stuff, and I'm gonna hold my wife down for my wife, whatever. She didn't care about none of that at the end of the day.
No.
She still left you for a nigga who's beneath you. The nigga she left him for ain't even on his level.
I don't even know who he is.
But he gave her that big dick energy.
Yeah.
That, like you said, he was an asshole. He challenged her. He made her feel young and sexy. Because remember, Papoose wanted her to come on and be a mama and be snuggled up and be, she wanted to be outside. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't want to be that girl anymore. So he should have known, when, by the way she was talking about her prison sentence, that she wasn't going to be that girl. She wasn't trying to be that wife.
Yeah, and it's so sad. I hate that
she used him.
Trap. I tell guys, even when you were saying, if he won't settle down or whatever, you tell the women he don't like you, right? And that's the same thing I say to men when they're like, "Oh, my wife, we haven't had sex in a month."
Oh, same thing.
She don't like you.
Yeah.
She don't like you, because when you like that man, you throwing your panties at him every chance you get, unless there is something medically wrong and you're just unable to.
Yeah.
When you like him, sex is not an issue.
And there are a lot of women who there are a lot of women who settle for men in a lot of ways they may not necessarily be attracted to, but they kind of learn to love them, which I think a lot of times is what happens. Like, women, they may not be attracted to a guy in the beginning. You know what I mean? He may have the things on paper, but he's just not like, oh my God, he's so hot, I just want him so bad type of situation for a woman. But she can learn to love him as he shows his way of being a provider, a protector. You know what I mean? Somebody try to, get up in her face, he fight him, and she's like, oh, okay, this is my nigga. You know what I mean? Like, so I think women can learn to do that. Men can't really. But a man, it's got to kind of be there from the beginning. I don't think a man can really learn to love a woman. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to kind of be there. If it ain't there, it ain't gonna get there with a man. With women, yeah, because I think a lot of times women do like, especially because of the historic way of our society where women had to be taken care of, had to be married. It's like I gotta get with this nigga. I got somebody got to kill these cows and make this hut, and you know what I mean. Somebody got to protect us from the bears. So I'm about to fuck with this nigga for real.
Liz for that one though, you're not swinging from the chandeliers for that one. You might learn to love him, but when it comes to that sex kitten that feel like all women have, and you have to bring it out, he ain't gonna get that one. He ain't gonna get the sex kitten. He may get mother, he may get wife, you may put his plate right in front of him. But the whole sex part, we gotta have another conversation.
But I feel like women need to control that sex kitten, because the sex kitten, she don't make good decisions.
No,
she don't make good decisions.
It ain't no controlling. I don't even want to control it, but I do want to just be in this one relationship. But I ain't trying to control it.
Because if you let her lead the way, she the one to get with rappers and drug dealers and scammers. Like she the one to do that. She the one to get with the nigga who is a model beautiful, but then got 5 baby mamas and been in jail. She don't make good decisions. So
in that aspect, no. But when you get into the relationship and the Bible's, you want the marriage bed to be undefiled.
Yeah.
You want that sex kitten to be able to come out and just
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you want to use that kitty to encourage that man to go to work and make that money and bring home that bacon.
Okay.
Get some kitty.
Okay. Jambalaya Talk says Christianity cannot thrive without conservatism, but conservatism cannot thrive. Christianity cannot thrive without conservatism, but conservatism cannot thrive without Christianity. We're going to get Jambalaya Talks on here eventually so we can you can expound on that, and then we're going to come up with another topic. Benji Irby, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell the people how they can find you, where they need to see you.
Yeah, all my stuff is Benji Irby. As y'all see the @ sign, whatever. I'm on X, IG, and TikTok when I'm not being banned. And also you can catch me on Newsmax every Tuesday. I come on Newsmax. I'm on my friend Carl Higby show at 5. I'm there every Tuesday. And I also, I tend to go a lot on the Hood Conservative podcast, which is every Thursday at 3 on X, is the Vern Spicer's podcast. That's a lot of fun too. So I'm, a little bit everywhere. And I do Sky News every so often, whatever. But the Newsmax thing is like, that's an every week thing. So you can catch me every week. And follow me on all the things, and send me messages and all that good stuff. And, all that good things, all the good things. I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. Y'all can find me on Fearless with Jason Whitlock. But also, I'll be here every Friday.
Thank God you didn't put on my picture with Jason Whitlock. I look crazy. I look crazy. I'm so glad I look crazy in that picture. That was from the YBLS thing, from the Candace thing back in 2018. I looked crazy in that picture.
He was so little. I was like, when was that picture? God, let me see. He was so little. It's taking me so long to get to it.
That was at the YBLS thing for in 2018, that the event that Candace had. And I really have to say, like, for wherever I made this agree with Candace, I think that was really dope she did that, because she made a difference in a lot of those young people's lives, because in them just meeting and being with Trump and whatever, because those were kids from the hood for real. Like, those are kids that probably never even had an opportunity like that. And it's so funny because I had a discussion with somebody who was like a Democrat, who was like all like, they did like campaign organization and stuff like that, whatever. And I talked about going to the White House and being in the Eastern with Trump and whatever. And I was like, you ever met Obama? And they were like, I never met Obama. And I'm like, all you do for the Democrat Party? You ain't never met Obama?
Exactly.
You got people been Republican 5 minutes and they up there chilling with Trump. Like, look at that. Trump is so open, so much more open and transparent than anybody else I've seen. Like, I really feel, and I don't mean to sound like a cornball when I say this, I feel so much a part of America now, for real. Yeah, that like I feel like you know what I mean, like these things, like the things are making sense, and I feel like much more a part of, like, whereas it's like with the even with Kamala, with the celebrities and the Beyonce and the whatever, it's like they're up here and you're down there. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you can never get close to Obama. You know what I mean? Never. You know what I mean? Like They will knock your ass down. The opportunity wouldn't even present itself. You know what I mean? Like to even do that. Yet so many of us worship him. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I feel like a patriot now. After Trump, I feel like a patriot. I
really feel like a part of America for real. Like on some real shit. Because even more than Obama, Trump is historical because he's the absolute first regular person in the history of this country to ever be elected who's never had electoral office before. That's never happened. They've always been either in government before or military general. Even back to George Washington, Donald Trump is the first regular citizen to ever be elected president. And it shows me that me or you can be president. I would want to be president, to be honest, but me or you can do it. You know what I mean? That to me is more inspiration even than Obama, because I went to Harvard. I ain't been to Indonesia. I'm not fancy. I'm not Bush's cousin, but I am a regular person. I could become a billionaire.
Yeah, it would give me too many gray hairs, though. Yeah, not interested.
I can't do it because I love to drive. You can't drive your own car when you're president. I couldn't go 4 years without driving my own car. You never can drive yourself anywhere. That would be so weird. And you always got somebody. I like my privacy. Like I just want to be alone. You know what I mean? I can't. That's to have somebody around. Somebody's watching you 24 hours a day. You're never alone if you're the president. Like,
yeah, you do love to drive. God.
Yeah, I couldn't. I could never want to be president.
Thank you again, Benji. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Catch me next week. I still think 2:00. I'm going to get this time locked down. Next week, I do have a graduate. Oh, no, it won't be next week. Week after next, because I have a graduation next Friday. My little cousin is graduating high school.
Oh.
And I'll be there at 1 p.m. So
it's
that season. But after then, catch me. Oh,
and anytime you want to have me, you need me, I'm here. People have been threatening me to get me try to start a podcast. I'm like, oh, it's just so much work. Maybe, but you obviously you're my first guest, so I ever decided to do that sort of thing.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, Benji.
Love you.